Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'll thank the Minister for her question. Mr. Speaker, my question without notice goes to the Minister for Finance, Family Planning and Domestic Affairs. Mr. Speaker, since the Minister was elected into the role some 16 years ago, myself and fellow members of the House have seen her implement a wide range of sweeping changes which have benefited her greatly. Mr. Speaker, these changes which haven't necessarily taken into account the day-to-day needs of those living and working within our seat of Hindmarsh, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, during this time, the Minister has taken it upon herself to change the lives of fellow members of the House to a point where those affected can no longer live their lives as they knew it. Mr. Speaker, I know for a fact that all members of the House are acutely aware that the one who has been affected the most by these decisions is the Honourable, the Minister for Racing and Gambling, Mr. Nifty Rowe. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Rowe and other ministers have seen the Minister in question undertake the following projects: renovations of existing homes, selling of these homes, purchasing of new homes, purchasing of new vehicles, purchasing of 7 rounds of IVF, Mr. Speaker, to introduce new members into her existing portfolio. Purchasing of engagement rings, Mr. Speaker, and organising weddings for 100 distinguished guests at the National Wine Centre. Local, interstate and overseas holidays which have stretched the Minister's travel budget to the absolute limit. And last but not least, Mr. Speaker, the recent purchase of a holiday house and land package on the coastal town of Stansbury on the York Peninsula and a 40th birthday for about 80 to 100 distinguished guests. Mr. Speaker. These changes implemented by the Minister for Finance, Family Planning and Domestic Affairs have seen departmental spending go to unprecedented levels of which fellow members of the House have never seen before. With these matters in mind, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Racing and Gambling Minister and other members of the House, I ask the Minister in question, are you fucking happy? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No more questions.